Hello everyone and welcome to the TigerPaw Software Business Building Webinar Series. This is a live webinar series that focuses on sharing industry best practices, helpful business tips, and valuable partner training to VARs, MSPs, and technology service providers. My name is James Kernan. I'll be your host for today's call. The presenter today will be Jeff Hughes, Senior Sales Engineer at TigerPaw Software. Today's session is called 10 Reasons to Blow Up Your Business Processes and Start All Over. Today, we're going to talk about the latest all-in-one PSA that includes everything you need to run your business. We will discuss why you should ditch your CRM, toss your help desk software, throw away your time tracking tool, and say goodbye to all those spreadsheets created to try to help you run your business. We'll show you a single powerhouse application that has been continually evolving over the past 30 years that can do it all, and now at a price point that will change the PSA marketplace forever. So TigerPaw One is one platform for all departments, for all employees. And if you can see from left to right, all your departments, marketing, sales, operations, service, accounting, everything is connected through one database, one interface. And then also, many of you have remote offices or remote employees, and they can connect through the portals and the mobile, and we're going to show you that as well. And then to me, the most important piece of this is everything's tied together with the strong business intelligence tools like the Matrix and the live dashboards. All right, so let's hand things off over to Jeff. Jeff, let's go ahead.
Thank you, James. This is really what I consider the foundation. This is called TigerPaw's Account View. Whether you're dealing with the service side of TigerPaw, installation, sales, everything revolves around this particular view. This is the look at your prospect, your customer. All conversations you may have with any contact at this location, an entry should be made into the journal. TigerPaw also makes system entries. Here you see a quote was entered, a service order, a service ticket. Also Journal Connect here. If you receive an email from this customer in your Outlook inbox, you're given the option to add that email right into the journal, all date and time stamped. You don't have to go look for it in your email. You don't have to cut and paste. The automate that email into the journal. Many of our competition, this is an extra charge. This is all included with TigerPaw One. Your scheduling of your tasks, appointments, and to-dos has a calendar function. There's several views of the TigerPaw calendar. For instance, here's a group calendar where you might see everyone's schedule in one view. Some of these tasks may be associated with a project, a service order, or possibly a sales follow-up call. Also, there's an individual calendar by rep. This is Charles Summit's calendar. He has some time-sensitive tasks or to-dos here on the left, some non-time-sensitive to-dos here on the right. Now, these tasks and appointments can also be viewed on your Outlook calendar through TigerPaw's Exchange Integrator. The Exchange Integrator keeps both calendars in sync, so it doesn't matter where you choose to put a task or an appointment, both calendars remain in sync, whether you put the task in TigerPaw, whether you put it in Outlook. Again, many of our competition charge extra for this. This is all included in TigerPaw One. If you want to do marketing to your customers, TigerPaw's marketing philosophy is find the needs and wants of this prospect as far as products and services you offer, funnel them into groups of accounts that have like or similar interest in those same products and services, and now mass market to the entire group. That brings us to the Group Explorer. Here are some account groups defined within this database. Here's a group of accounts that have an interest in a managed services contract. Now there's 68 accounts making up this group. There could be hundreds. But the point is, I can put this entire group of 68 accounts on a very targeted marketing campaign where over the course of time, TigerPaw would be sending them emails, including literature packages we put together, maybe some mail merge letters, and scheduling the tasks on the calendars for those sales reps to make the follow-up call at the appropriate time during the campaign. Now, most of our customers prefer to send their marketing out in the form of email. If that being the case, now you can take advantage of email analytics. Here we can see a campaign that sent out 478 emails, of which we had 29 unique opens. Here are the 29 accounts that opened their email. Now, within the body of this email, you may embed links taking them to your website for product information. Here we can see we had 23 accounts that not only opened the email, but actually clicked on a link provided. This button allows you now to funnel these 23 accounts now into another group where now you can concentrate on them since they are your most likely prospects out of this marketing campaign. Once again, a lot of our competition charge extra for this. This comes standard with TigerPaw One. Are you starting to see a pattern develop here? Now, these 23 accounts, you may consider these now to be sales opportunities. And now we would track them on an opportunity within TigerPaw. Here's what the opportunity looks like. And think of the opportunity as telling you the entire sales story. Where did the lead come from? Who in your organization is working the lead? Where is the lead in your defined process? And you define this process by the number of stages you want to create. No limit to these. What's your probability of close date? There's your forecasting report. And what's the expected dollar amount you could recognize if this should close with success? Now there's your sales pipeline. Now, no doubt, somewhere within this process, you do want to introduce the proposal or the quote, and we link this right to the opportunity, tying, again, the entire story together. Now, quotes in TigerPaw can be generated in a variety of ways. You can import detail into the line item of a TigerPaw quote. You can use TigerPaw's price list, which you would have imported in from the vendors you do business with, to enter items into your quote. You may use templates to pre-fill detail, so you don't have to necessarily start with an empty quote unless you choose. When you look at an item on TigerPaw's quote, inventory will let you know how many you have available. If you do business with Tech Data, Ingram Micro, or D&H, this button reaches out to those three vendors. If this is a product you buy from any or all three of those vendors, you can see real-time pricing here and availability of this item. Here's the price level you quoted the customer. You may create multiple price levels, all dependent on the different levels you sell your products and services. You can discount the line item if you choose. You can apply discounts across the entire quote. You can offer leasing options to your customer by plugging in a lease rate, number of payments. This can convert this right to a lease if you choose. The detail in the quote where you feel comfortable. From the Manager's tab, you can see the breakdown. There's your cost for material, your labor cost, a combined total cost, your profit, and right now this is sitting at a 34% margin. The other thing that's important from here, the needed hours match your quoted hours, so this is letting me know that I'm quoting enough labor to satisfy the material on this particular quote, so I'm not cutting myself short on the labor. Now, if these numbers are where you're comfortable, you may then email this right over to your client. We do give you several outputs. I'll show you the proposal. The proposal gives you a nice cover page, simple to put your logo on these documents. Here is the line item detail, which also can include pictures. You may put subtotals at the quote. In this case, I subtotaled the hardware and the labor. You can have subtotals within subtotals. So whether you want to subtotal by product, by installation location, have as many subtotals as you like. Maybe you don't want to show the line item pricing, just the totals. That's all part of the process you have available in TigerPaw One. Now that the customer has the proposal in their hands, if they approve this, this is internal approval, which will trigger workflows. Workflows are the part of TigerPaw that notify people when something's happened they need to be aware of. This happens in the form of an email, pop-ups on their screen, or both. So maybe my project managers need to know this is going to be an installation. People who do the parts ordering would need to know. Workflow will send those people in emails, pop-ups on the screen, or both now that this is going to be an installation. Also, by this being approved, TigerPaw also knows this is going to be one or more invoices. That's a given. But depending on how you process the quote is the path it takes in getting there. You have a couple of options. If you process it as a work order, this creates a pick ticket, an invoice, and ships the product to the customer. No installation. If it is going to be an installation, whether it be through one or more install tickets or possibly a multi-phase project, we convert it to service orders. Now this quote has been turned into an installation, and we link the installation order right to the quote. Let's take a look at this. Here's the installation order that TigerPaw created, and what it does here is it brings the detail from the quote over to the parts and labor of my install order. So there's no double key entry. It flows directly from the quote into my install order. Now it's typically from here I could generate any number of POs from any number of vendors to get the products in for this inventory. It links the POs right to the order so that when these items do come in, I know which job they've been ordered for. Now, typically, we're going to schedule the techs, capture all the time they spend on the installation, all the installation detail, and we'll end up at one or more invoices. This is what an invoice looks like coming out of TigerPaw. Again, this is a crystal report. Simple to put your logo on these documents. Here's the standard invoice. Now, when the invoice posts coming out of TigerPaw, 3 things happen. First, this is when we relieve your inventory of what you just sold. We add this list of items to the customer's asset records. We maintain a complete list of what this site purchased from you. And third, this is when we will update a batch file going over to accounting to update your accounts receivable and your general ledger. Now, there's another option for installation coming out of TigerPaw as far as the quote, and that's of a project. Now, projects are typically something of a larger scope or nature, but they don't necessarily have to be. Here's what a project looks like. Here's the originating quote. There can be multiple quotes. More than likely, there'll be change order quotes on this before it's all said and done. TigerPaw creates the service orders by phase. Now, there's 3 phases in this project. There's a pre-wire, installation, and training. TigerPaw generates the phases. When we look at a phase, every phase has an expected start date, an expected completion date. You may compare that with the actual date it started, actual date that it completed. Maybe you want to assign an engineer to the phase, and you may define checklists of things that need to be completed before the phase is done. All user-definable, unlimited. We want to help you manage your resources. These are calendar events where individuals are scheduled on the calendar to work the project. We're capturing the time they entered. There's the amount of time individuals spent doing the various things to complete the project. All your purchasing from any number of vendors. Here's a list of anything ordered across all the vendors that we're still waiting on. So we're still waiting on a few components on the project. We want to help you with the profit and the budget. There's the total sell price. This would be inclusive of all the quotes, including change order quotes. There's the customer's approved budget. We're still under budget, not by a lot, but we're under budget. And here's the internal warning threshold we set as to where we want to be notified when this project has been invoiced at $1,800. That again will be workflow, letting us know by sending emails, pop-ups on the screen, or both. You can invoice at the project, and you have the same options to invoice here as you do across the entire TigerPaw platform. Maybe you want to do one invoice for the entire project. Maybe you want to do partial invoicing, where you select which items you'd like to invoice. Maybe you want to do progressive invoicing, where you invoice by percentages, creating any number of invoices up until the time the project's done, and TigerPaw will calculate the final invoice for you as to what's left over. There are reports at the project level. There's project summary, timeline, outline. Here is your work in progress job costing report. The estimated numbers are coming from the quotes. The actual has been what's actually put in at the service order level. The invoiced amounts, we've 8.33 invoiced this one at $627.60. We have not hit our profit point yet. We're still in the red on this one, but we still have a balance left to invoice of $69.10.40. So the project allows the project manager to manage your resources, get people scheduled on the calendar, get the deliverables ordered as needed, track the installation of the deliverables on the install orders, invoice to bring revenue in the door, and send those transactions over to accounting to update accounts receivable general ledger. Now, when those items are sold to the customer, they go into the customer's asset records, and you may choose to put them under some sort of maintenance contract or managed services agreement. Now, TigerPaw supports several different contracts by basis, from time period to hourly based. We also support managed services agreements. Now, the agreement is typically attached to a remote monitoring management tool, and we have integrations with several. This one happens to be linked to AVG, but the agreement wants to know, what are you providing? We're providing services to their managed service to their servers and workstations. We're also providing backup and disaster recovery, and we've bundled in their maintenance contract. Now, this is a recurring billing model. Here you can automate the billing for these services. You define how you want to bill this. This one's billed monthly. What day of the month do you want TigerPaw to reach out to the RMM, in this case AVG, and pull in the active assets and prorate the pricing to keep my pricing current? Do you want this to now email the invoice to the customer, and on the 3rd of the month we want to process their credit card or ACH? So this is a recurring billing model where TigerPaw creates the invoice, emails it to your customer, and processes the payment as a credit card or ACH. Now, when alerts get generated, in this case from AVG, that creates a service order in TigerPaw and attaches it to the contract. Here's where we tie this all together. This is TigerPaw's Reports Explorer. These are the categories of the reports that we ship with the product, which right now total right at 600. We're going to take a look at an agreement profitability report. And we're going to take a look at that same one that we were just on. Now, the whole idea of this report is you need to be aware of any and all revenue that's come in from this agreement, including your monthly billing, any other invoices, but you also have to be cognizant of what have you expended in your cost in providing these services. Now, it may be labor only, it could be parts only, or in this case, it's labor and material both, but that's up to you how you set this up. So here is the service orders that have come in. These could have come in from the alerts tied to this agreement, and here's what you've expended in labor and material. That way, TigerPaw can come up with your profit-to-date numbers so that you know where you are with this agreement with your customer anytime you choose to run this report, and you would certainly do this prior to it being renewed. And here's workflow letting you know well in advance of that coming up so that you have time to run this report, digest this information, and see how you wish to go forward. Now, service orders can come into TigerPaw in a variety of ways. We just talked about coming in from an RMM tool, creating an alert. TigerPaw has an email connector. If you want your customers to be able to generate a service order by sending you an email, that's our email connector. And again, that's a separate charge from a lot of our competitors. It's included with TigerPaw One. Service orders might come in from somebody just placing a call to your organization. You can search to find an account by, let's say, account name. We look for One Stop Dental, do a right click, and create a new service order. Now this customer has multiple sites. Here I can verify by address which location to create the service order for. If your customer is not paying their bill on time, you may place this on credit hold, get this pop-up notification. You may also display special instructions. If there's something you want someone to know within your organization about this client, put this in special instructions. The service order's date and time stamped. I'm logged in as Charles. It knows that I created it. The other thing that's important to me is this customer is under contract. I don't have to go and look them up. This is their default contract. TigerPaw understands that and also lets me know that it's an hourly-based contract. They have 38 hours remaining. There again, it's important for me to know that they have 38 hours remaining rather than 5 minutes, because if they don't have enough time on their contract, this is the time to have that conversation, not after the fact. Now, these are text fields. You're welcome to type in here, but to save time, you can create options in your master tables to pre-fill. These are unlimited. But if you really want to take advantage of speeding up the process, I would consider using templates. Templates are for these things that you see on a regular basis. We're going to go out and address a virus. TigerPaw is going to update these fields for me, and here my brief descriptions pre-populated, my work requested. There's a step-by-step process for my technician to follow. I can update the work performed if I wish. I can also put detail in the parts and labor. In this case, I put the labor rate we typically charge per hour to do this work. So now it's just a matter of scheduling someone to do it, whether I do it through the dispatch board, and we'll talk about mobile here in a bit, but this is capturing the detail, and now we can assign this to your customer. So as we talked about, service tickets can come in a variety of ways. We talked about the RMM, creating alerts. We just created a service ticket by someone placing a call. We also can do this through a portal if you choose. So the idea here is that your customer can log in through a portal. And they'll come to this view. Now you get to restrict what they see from here, but you can give them a little rotating ad. They can see their service orders that they have. Here they can see their managed assets. These would be coming in from your RMM tool. They can see their projects they have ongoing, quotes. They can see their assets that are non-managed. RMAs, they can see their managed contracts that they have that are open, and they can also see invoices with unpaid balances. Here's where they can create a service ticket. They go to Request Service. All that's really required of them to provide is a brief description and the work requested. They could attach up to 3 documents here. Link these documents as linked documents to the service order. They could assign their PO here, assign a priority. Now, they may think all their priorities are emergency. They can schedule a date when they'd like this done. This doesn't schedule it. It becomes a requested date. They can attach their own reference number here, link it to the system they have at their account, and actually tie it to the asset item that they need service on. When they submit this, this creates the service ticket within TigerPaw, can alert you through workflow that the ticket came in, but also this will send an email confirmation back to your customer with all the detail as here's the service order that was created on your behalf, here's the detail we have, and whatever else you want to tell them in the message on the email. Now, once the ticket is in the system, they can come back out here, and if you give them the rights, they can also now see the detail of what's going on with that ticket. So if you want them to see the overview, the ticket detail is what they would have entered, work performed is what's been done, they can see the item being serviced. Maybe you want them to see the parts and labor. Here they will never see pricing, all they'll see is detail. Maybe you want them to see the time entered by people working their ticket. Notes. Maybe you want them to see note history. You can restrict this if you wish. But here they can add a note. This is how they can update the ticket with more information and again attach up to 3 different documents as linked documents to this order. As a confirmation, maybe you want them to sign. Here we can capture the electronic signature. They put their name here, and we can capture the electronic signature here right on this view. So I really look at the portal, the customer portal, as being that enhance the customer experience by letting that customer come in and create their own tickets. They can see the status of what they have ongoing with you. They can request a quote from here if they'd like to purchase more products from you as well. But this gives that customer the ability to, without getting you involved, to create orders and see what's going on with the orders that they have within your system. Now, as far as remote connectivity, we also have here a portal for your employees. So the idea here is, with an employee portal, as long as your employees have access to the internet and a browser, they can come in here and they can manage their workload across this portal. Now this works both for technicians and your sales reps. So as a technician, I can come in here and I can see all my open service orders. And it's from here I can go into a service order and I can complete it across this view. This looks similar to the desktop version. So there's all the detail on the order. Notice I have all the tabs. I can see the service technicians. I can see all the notes against this, all the parts. I can add my time. And from here I can also capture a signature from my customer as well. So if I'm having the customer sign off on this as an acceptance, I can capture the electronic signature on a service order if I'm completing it across this interface, just like we did the other one. Now this works also for your sales reps as well. So not only can they manage their service ticketing out here and all of their detail, but they also could manage their quotes. So if I'm a sales rep working out in the field, I also have all of my quotes out here that I can work as well. So this particular view works great for your techs and your sales reps. There's a quote. If I go into the quote itself, I have all the detail I can here that I have access in the desktop. I can add items to the quote. From the Manager tab, I can see the breakdown of where I'm at with the quote. And again, if I'm going to have my customer sign off as accepting the quote, I can capture electronic signature out here as well on this interface. So this is remote connectivity for these individuals to work this. As long as they have a browser and a connection to the internet, they can use these portals. Now there's another option as far as remote connectivity is concerned, and that really is now mobile. Now mobile is going to allow your technicians and your sales reps to update their jobs across their phone. Now we have apps that cover both the iOS which is going to be the iPhone, and we also have an app for the Android device. So both of those formats are actually supported. So here we're looking at mobile CRM. So as a sales professional, I have access to everything I need to move my processes forward as an opportunity. So I have all my tasks out here. I can see my dashboard. Here I can see all my open tasks. If I've got any tasks that are overdue, I can see my month-to-date sales that I have. If I have a quota, I can view my quota. I can see my opportunities for this month. I can see opportunities I have projected out for next month. So this gives me all the information that I need to manage my sales process through the opportunity right on my phone. I have all my accounts I can work with. So I can pull up One Stop Dental. I have all their phone numbers. I can add more contacts. I have all the detail. Here's the contacts for a person at a location. I have their phone numbers, their email address. I can update this information right on my phone. My opportunities. I can create opportunities. I can move my existing opportunities ahead. So as a sales professional, I can work my opportunities right on my phone, all real time, right into the database. Now for my technicians, this interface also works for the technicians. So as a technician, I come into my agenda. I'm going to see my calendar, my to-dos. Maybe I also do sales calls. I've got my service tickets. I can see my tasks associated with my projects. Here's a call. This shows me the address I'm going to, my customer's phone number, their email address. Notice those are hyperlinks. If I were to tap in mobile on that address, it shows me a map on how to get to their site. It would dial the phone. I could tell my customer I'm on the way. Mobile for technicians is really designed to capture time, accurate time. That means travel time going to the customer site and on-site time doing my work. So when I head to the customer site, I would tap Start here, and that would start a time entry capturing my time traveling to the customer site. That timer is going to run until I get to the location, at which time under work I would tap Start. When that happens, I'm given an option to enter my mileage. So if you're tracking mileage, you have an option to add mileage as a whole number here, or you can also add it as a beginning amount and an ending on your odometer, and it will calculate the mileage. If you're not tracking mileage, no worries. But it also stops your travel time entry and starts that on-site time. Here you have your work performed. You can enter what you did for work, comments. You have all your time entries. You can add expenses, all parts. You can add parts to the order from here. Now these are text fields. You're welcome to type in these areas, but I'm not the snappiest texter in the world, but I can sure talk a game. My phone supports dictation, so I can speak the detail, and TigerPaw will convert that to text for me. When I'm assigned the order and I start going to the site, and I'm capturing my travel time going to the site, what the dispatcher sees from the TigerPaw's dispatch board, what you're seeing here, is the icon turning into the little blue truck. Now it stays in that truck until I get to the customer's location. When I get to their location and start my on-site timer, that truck turns into a little wrench. So the point being that the dispatcher knows if I'm traveling on site to that customer location and if I'm already there. So they can see right on the dispatch board if I'm traveling to the location or if I am on site. You have access to your customer's passwords. This is the password vault. This is all security driven, so I have to enter my password to be able to see this information. I also have to have security privileges to see this as well. So here I can see my customer's passwords of their equipment. I can actually add a password. I can edit passwords as long as my security privileges allow this. If you've ever walked into a customer site and it looks like the place had been ransacked, so if you walk into a server room and you go, maybe you should call 911, I think you've been robbed, and they say, oh no, it always looks like that, take a picture. This links the picture as a document right to the service order. Then take a picture when you're done, after you've done your magic, so you've got a before and after picture linked right to the service order. When you're completed, your customer can capture electronic signature by signing right on the phone, right with their finger, so they can sign this right here to capture their electronic signature that they accepted the work as being completed.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Jeff, for that. That's exciting to see the full power. This is a big picture view, just kind of an executive summary of the TigerPaw One platform. But just think of the power of eliminating all the redundant keystrokes that every single one of your department heads do. And then each time you go and retype that same information, you run the risk of a typo and creating errors and creating frustration. And that's even more work on top of typing the same thing out 5 times. So thanks, Jeff, for doing the walk, that full walkthrough for us. That was great. So one of the key points with the TigerPaw One platform is all employees have access to everything. So you've got one workflow engine, you've got one interface, one database, one place for training and full implementation. You've got one place for everyone to call for support. And most importantly, you've got one place for business intelligence with the matrix views and the real-time dashboards. So here on this slide, I wanted to talk about a special offer we have for you. So if you've been intrigued with what Jeff had to say on the workflows, and you see the benefits of TigerPaw One, and you want to set up a custom demo, we've got a special offer for you today. We're only going to offer this for the first 10 people, but I want you to email sales@tigerpaw.com. And the first 10 people qualify for this promotion. But we've got a lot of people out there that are frustrated with their existing PSA tool, and many people may not even have a PSA tool. But when you make an investment in something like TigerPaw One, you need the tool to pay for itself by either making you more money or saving you more money. And TigerPaw does that time and time again. So this special discount, you'll qualify for a 23% discount on the TigerPaw One platform, bringing the monthly price down to $69 per user per month from the retail price originally at $89. And the other part of this promotion, we're going to eliminate the upfront fees. So there's no upfront investment. It's a $1,500 value, but we'll install this at no charge, and we'll also include a self-guided implementation, and the startup licensing fees have been eliminated. So it's a very low total cost of ownership to get in, it's a low monthly fee, and it's a very powerful tool across your organization. All right? So Jeff, we've got a few minutes here. Let's open things up for questions. Some of you may have been typing questions in the message box or the chat box as the session had been going on. I think we've answered some of those questions, but we got a lot of folks on the webinar today, so we'll try to answer at least a few of these questions. And if we don't get to everything and you have follow-up questions, again, a friendly reminder, we're going to email the webinar link out, so everybody within the next 48 hours will get a copy of the presentation. And then you can always email us at sales@tigerpaw.com, and one of the assigned sales reps will reach out to you and answer any questions that you may have. Okay? So
here's a question, James.
Go ahead.
If I may, for the calendar integration with Exchange, does it work with Office 365? Yes, it does. It works fine with Office 365. Another question, also for the calendar integration with Exchange, how do I keep my personal calendar items from syncing down to TigerPaw? You can hide personal tasks if you want. It will block the timeout, but no one will see what that task is about. So if you've got certain things that you might want to show that you're out of the office or not available, but it's a personal task that you don't have, there's no reason for them to know what it's about, you can make those restricted so that no one can see a personal task. Do you have a change approval ticket that the client can approve? I'm assuming that's for a change order, and yes, that's a change order quote. The change order allows us to know who requested the change, what the change is, and who signed off on it. That way we're capturing all the detail as far as who signed off on that quote. TigerPaw takes care of those changes on the orders so that everything is taken care of on the install side, and we link all the change orders to the install so that we know here's what was originally quoted, here's any and all changes, we know who requested the changes, what they are, and who signed off on them, and TigerPaw takes care of the rest. Here's another one. Sorry, this thing is moving on me, and I'm reading it its head more, but okay, I'll get this. For the client web portal, can you restrict how much they see? Yes, you can. You restrict what you want them to see on that. Maybe they don't need to see invoices. Absolutely. Everybody won't be wanting to see invoices. Maybe you don't want them to see service orders. So you have, by user, may restrict what they can see on that portal. So you have control over that. Is there a limit to how many marketing emails can be sent at a time? No, there really isn't. And here's how this deal goes. Number one, when you're doing email marketing, you want to make sure you don't get caught on a blacklist. So that's a given. We know that. So in TigerPaw, we don't send these emails out in one giant, huge block, so you're not going to be susceptible to be on a blacklist. You can determine how many emails you wish to go out per hour, so we send them out one at a time. So typically, you can schedule these to go out after hours or whatever you want, however you want to do this, but they go out one at a time, so there's really no real restriction on how many emails that you send out. Just as long, we just make sure that we don't want to get you on a blacklist, and in the way that we do this, you should be fine. We do it all the time.
Jeff, let me add one thing to that as well, because Paul, that was a great question. The other powerful thing in TigerPaw is all the emails, like Jeff said, come directly out of TigerPaw with all the email analytics. And then when you look at that contact record, it's all right there in the journal notes. So you know every single person that received that email. You can keep track of that. You don't need a third-party tool that you pay a monthly fee to import that back and forth. That's very cumbersome. All of that is all integrated right in TigerPaw One.
Here's another one. We can probably knock out a couple here. They're talking about what integrations for accounting. TigerPaw comes with predefined integration to QuickBooks, Sage 50, Sage 100. There was also a question about the Sage 50 Canadian. Yes, we integrate with that as well. And then we also do provide the link builder, as long as your application will accept a batch import to update ARGL. You can build your own link to integrate. But the Sage 50, 100 products, and QuickBooks are integrations that we have pre-definition set up within TigerPaw as a standard. Here's a question: do you integrate with ACT CRM? No, we would replace ACT CRM with TigerPaw. So there's no direct integration with ACT. We would replace ACT. We do have an integration with Continuum, yes. We have integration with AVG, Continuum, Kaseya, Enable. I'm missing some, James.
Servoyant, LabTech. There's one other comment here is we've got an open API. One of the beauties about TigerPaw is we don't own a lot of other little software companies. So we have an open API philosophy. So we actually have hundreds of go-to-market partners and plugins and integrations. Just hit the partner page on the TigerPawSoftware.com website and you can see them all. But if it's not listed up there, let us know. Again, with our open API, we don't restrict of who writes to us or not. We want to keep those an open platform so we can integrate with as many people as possible. That's a great question.
Here's a good one. We are an old TigerPaw customer who failed to implement. Now we are back on track and interested. How can TigerPaw help us get started? We can take care of that for you. We can help you with that. Just contact anyone that if you know your sales rep's name, call your sales rep or just call into TigerPaw. We'll get you help with that. So we have a plan to get you back on track in TigerPaw, and we can help you with that. So absolutely, we have implementation plans to help you get going, get you on the latest version, and get you up and running and get you implemented.
All right, I think we got time for about one or two more.
Oh, here's one. Have to have a server, correct? Yes, TigerPaw runs on your server. It's a SQL database that runs on your server, and the application is loaded on the individual workstation.
So one other comment about that is the TigerPaw One is a SaaS program. It's on-premise, and the benefits of on-premise is you're in control of your own database for security reasons. There's a lot of cloud breaches that are happening out there, so you've got to be aware of that. But your data is under your roof where you control it, and there's no internet latency. I know a lot of the competitive products based on bandwidth challenges and you're pulling data, they can be very slow. So TigerPaw is very responsive based on how you have your network set up. So one question was asking, have you hosted this in a virtual environment or a cloud offsite environment? And the answer is absolutely. TigerPaw has a partner certification process, and several of our partners have these on-premise running on physical equipment, but it's out in the cloud, so you can access it that way if that's how you choose to do business. So just contact your sales representatives for more details on that, but that is offered through a third-party partner.
Here's one. Do you have an ASCII discount as well? I'm going to refer that one to you, James.
Yeah, we actually do, but believe it or not, today's crazy promotion is deeper than that ASCII promotion. So again, I would encourage, if any of you want to get a price quote and walk through a custom demo and your own custom test drive of TigerPaw, we can customize that for you and speak with our team, but you need to email sales@tigerpaw.com, and we'll be more than happy to get you plugged in on that aggressive discount. Okay? So I think that's about it. If there's there were a lot of questions coming in. I think we answered most of them. If there's anything else that you need, you can always call the sales team at 1-800-704-9009, and we're more than happy to help you out. We care about your success, so we want to hear from you and help you take your business up to the next level with TigerPaw. So thanks, everybody, for your time. Jeff, great job on the webinar. And hopefully we'll be talking to you all soon.
Thanks, everyone.